All right, as usual, as I'm starting to film, the boy comes in to see what I'm doing. I have my mise en place set out for our pumpkins. The flour is already, the sugar is already measured out. I got 3 eggs, I got my can of pumpkin, I've got my oil, and for the dry ingredients, I've already mixed my flour with a pinch of salt, and I used pumpkin pie spice. I had pumpkin pie spice, so I didn't have to measure out the cinnamon and the other spices because it's already in the pumpkin pie spice. And then I have my Pam to spray into my muffin tins. All right, so the first step, I'm gonna pour my cup of oil into my sugar. I'm going to whisk it up. This is gonna get the sugar to dissolve. It's gonna take a little while. So I've been whisking for about 3 minutes. I edited it so you don't have to actually watch me do all of that. And then one at a time, I'm gonna pour in my eggs. So they're all combined, but one goes in. Incorporates relatively easily. Once that's nice and incorporated, I'm gonna pour in my second egg. There we go. What we're doing by incorporating them one at a time is again helping the sugar dissolve into them, and generally noticing, because eggs are different sizes, if the eggs are too big and it starts to get too liquidy, you might not need all the eggs in a lot of recipes. I'm pretty sure with this one I'm going to. I'm really out of shape. I can't believe just several minutes of whisking and I'm breathing heavy. They're starting to look like a nice little batter. Let's see that there. So I'll add in my final egg. Boom, boom, boom. Twist that in so it's nice and incorporated. I like how that one outer thing is bending. So once they're all nice and incorporated, I'm going to take my pumpkin and add it. Maybe like two additions is probably going to be fine. Which is annoying me. There we go. That's making it a lot more liquidy. Beautiful, smelling like pumpkin. Once that's all incorporated, I'm gonna add the rest. And again, going back to weird American sizes, I don't know why the standard size for a lot of these cans is 15 ounces when 16 ounces would be 2 cups. It's our strange measurement system that is based on nothing. So there we go. My sugar's dissolved, my eggs are in. Got my pumpkins. So I'm gonna go right into stir up the same way we did in the cookies. I'm gonna do a couple different additions. I'm gonna stir, again, folding. You kind of want to scrape around the side. That's what these rubber spatulas are for. And then cut through the middle. So I'm cutting through the middle and folding it over. And every now and and then go around the side, cut through the middle, and sort of stir it up when it's getting mostly incorporated. Scrape around the side. Got some up here that we want to incorporate. And the idea is we don't want to have little bubbles of flour in the middle. Another third. Scraping in. This is actually making a lot. I might be able to make a cake and a muffin. If you get really good at folding, you can start turning the whole bowl. See if that's staying in there. See professional bakers doing this. You kind of make a J towards yourself and then turn. So both hands are working at the same time. Every now and then scrape the flour off the side of the bowl down into the batter. But for now, just worry about just kind of folding it in. You fold it in, David. Fold in the cheese. There's no cheese in this. That's a line from Schitt's Creek. And then our final incorporation. Scrape from the sides of the bowl. And a final little stir just to break up any little potential. So my final step here, I'm going to spray into each of the little muffin tins. Again, you can have a disposable muffin tin. Doesn't matter. I'm going to use a cup just to see if it pours in well. And when you're putting this in, you only want to go about halfway to 3/4 up the sides of the little muffin indentations. We'll go back and clean up that spill in a second. Because these are going to expand. That's what the baking powder does, is they cause them to expand. And we don't want them to completely explode over the top. I'm going to be one short. So let me get a little bit more of my batter in here. Boom, and then fill up this final container. I think that one's a little small. There you go. So for cleanup purposes, I'm going to take a little paper towel and go around and clean off these little bits that won't get burned. So I have 12 muffins. I think I have enough that I'm going to actually show you how to make the loaf as well. So I will put this in the oven, set it 350. I'll set my timer for 12 minutes. And then I will prepare my loaf pan by again spraying it with some Pam. Then I'm going to put the rest of my batter, since this batter makes like 24 muffins, I will also make a pumpkin loaf. Pumpkin bread. Same batter, different product. It depends on what it's cooked in. There we go. Oh, I'm glad that worked out. So again, I'm going to go around the side, clean up those little messes. I'm going to pull out a little baking sheet. I'll put this on the baking sheet, and then I will cook this. The muffins will cook for about 12 to 14 minutes. This will cook for closer to 40 minutes. So I'll have two things in the oven that I will have to check at different times. So our muffin timer has gone off, and I'm going to rewrite the recipe because they were actually in there for closer to 25 minutes. The recipe as written says about 14, but they just were not cooking up. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little knife, stick it in the center, and I don't know, I think they can still go in a little bit more. I'm going to put them in for another 2 minutes. That's how you check the doneness of baked goods. You insert a knife or a toothpick in. So our muffins have come out of the oven. I checked them. I'm going to change the recipe because it took a lot longer than the recipe specified. The recipe said 12 to 14 minutes, and these were in for closer to 25. So what we want to do, stick a knife in the center, and if it comes out clean, that shows you that it's done. I'm going to leave them in the pan for a little longer and let them cool off, and then I will show you how they look when they're done cooling. So there we go. These are our muffins, nice and fluffy in the middle. Here's our pumpkin bread. Stick a knife into the center. Should come out nice and clean. I'm gonna let this sit cool because this just came out of the oven. That can sit for about 20 minutes or so before it will be ready to cut into. But those are the same batter, making two different items.